I mean, I'll start with just brief comments up at the top here. I think everyone saw our activity today in terms of trades, and our group is still working and is very active during this trade deadline tonight and tomorrow, and we expect the conversations to continue. And we'll see if anything else takes place. But in terms of the trades today, this was not something done, as any type of comment about the way our major league team is playing. We've got a young team, and they're playing their hearts out every night, and we want them to continue to do so. But we as we've said all along, we have some broad strategic objectives that go beyond 2020, and looking at the expiring nature of Tommy Milone's contract with the team, and Mychal Givens coming up on what would be his last season before hitting free agency with us next year. We had to entertain those discussions. Those guys were huge parts of the club this year, and were helpful. And Mychal's an impact reliever, and he's somebody who has been an Oriole for so long. And as I told him today, he's going to be an Oriole for life. He's going to be part of this organization well after he retires. He's meant a lot to our organization on and off the field for a really long time, and we're going to miss him. And Tommy was just a great fit for us this year. Had a rejuvenating kind of season. Great guy to have in the clubhouse. A terrific guy, and he's throwing the ball so well, and it just looks so good. And I'm excited for him to go join that race in the NL East. I think it's a nice fit for him. So, I know Mychal's excited about getting in that race as well. So it's good opportunities for these guys. The good news for us is we've got young players on the way. We've seen Mountcastle come up this year, as Brandon announced. Keegan Aiken's going to get his first start tomorrow. And, we have young relievers that can step in for a Mychal Givens. So it's just all part of the transition that this roster's undergoing, and part of our business. But, we're pleased with the returns, and we're still working.
All right. 2 questions now. Dan Connolly.
Mike, you finally traded for the guys who have names. Can you give us who each of these guys are and why you were intrigued by them?
The ones that were already named? Okay.
Ones that have names.
Yeah, I mean, Nevin and Vavra are they've been pretty high profile guys since they were drafted. Both were high picks, both favorites of scouts, both have enjoyed success in pro ball. And, I think Vavra is someone, we've been kind of accumulating infielders the last year or so, and he fits right in with that group, and just gives us another really high quality guy. He can play shortstop, really good second baseman, kind of a plus contact bat from the left side, really good control of the strike zone. We liked him out of the draft, gamer style makeup. And he's coming to Bowie once he completes his intake, so we'll get a look at him here soon. And then, Tyler Nevin's been a very attractive and very productive hitter since he signed in 2015. Really good up through the fall league last year, and had a very solid Double-A at age 22. Digging into his numbers and some of his batted ball data a little bit more from Double-A last year, we actually think he had some bad luck, and could have been an even better season. He controls the strike zone really well. He's got a real pretty swing, very solid third base. I think it's fair to say that he's serviceable elsewhere, third base, corner outfield, but first base is probably his best position right now. And he's somebody that I would say in all likelihood, will be at Major League Spring Training next year, and probably pencils in at the moment as our starting first baseman in Norfolk next year, but we'll just have to see.
Will he be part of the intake? Part of the overflow?
Yeah, because he's already in Colorado's camp, and so he's already in the testing process and all that. So we just have to get him here physically.
Nathan Ruiz.
Hey, Mike, you mentioned that these moves aren't in any way a comment on the major league team. Do you think that's understood in the clubhouse? Do you worry about the message it kind of sends to the players?
No, I think it is. I mean, Brandon and his staff have done such a great job with that team all year, and these guys know we've been very consistent about preaching the opportunity that's here. And for a couple of players like this who are in their 30s, they know that this is part of the business and something that might be coming. And these younger guys here are trying to establish themselves as long-term Orioles. They've got a lot of a runway left in terms of their time here. So I hope they'll keep pushing. I think we've seen some looks like exhaustion the last couple of days, and I think that some of our activities leading into the trade deadline put our bullpen into a bad spot the past couple of nights, and that's just part of it when you're selling going into the trade deadline. It's usually a rough few days from a roster standpoint and a bullpen standpoint and everything. It's just kind of how it is.
Rich Dubroff.
Mike, you've been clear since you came that you wanted to build an elite talent base. How close are you to getting that base to where you want it to be so that these kinds of trades aren't made in the future, or you don't feel you have to make these kinds of trades in the future?
Yeah, I think that our system has improved a ton, and I think at this point, it's a really consensus top 12, top 10 system, and arguably higher. And that's great. We were starting from a position where there was no talent coming from Venezuela, the Dominican Republic of any note. That continues to require some catch up, and we'll continue to work on that. But I think that the organization has drafted well the last few years, and that goes well beyond when I started. And I think you've seen, with some improvements in the player development approach, that some of these guys have blossomed and improved their stocks internally, and that's helped our system rise as well. So yeah, we're just going to keep it going. I don't think you ever feel your farm system is good enough. And then when we start to see that we have enough building blocks on that major league roster, or at least close to it, that we will start thinking of shifting our priorities to augmenting that. But I don't think that we're at that point yet, and we're still in a talent collection mode right now.
Joe Trezza.
Mike, how was the market for Givens, and what do you make of the activity or the level of activity overall league-wide up to this point?
It's been very, very active in terms of just number of conversations. That hasn't been any different this year relative to other years because of the COVID strangeness of how things are working this year. As soon as I got hired in late 2018, it was like Givens right away, people asking for him. He's been extremely popular all across the league for the closing in on 2 years that I've been here now. But we just hadn't found a package that really felt like it reflected his value until today. And we feel like we found it today. He's an impact reliever, those guys can make a difference. And you still have another season with him. He's always healthy. He always takes the ball. His stuff is filthy. I think it's a great addition for them, and I like what we got back for our future.
Nathan Ruiz.
Mike, are those players to be named later, are they decided on and you just have to wait because of the rules, or is there still some conversations to be had there?
I think that, those names will be named at the appropriate time. But obviously there are some strange restrictions in place this year, you're seeing an uptick in player to be named later trades. I think you can draw your own conclusions about why, but I'm looking forward to naming those mystery players at some point and hopefully joining them into our welcoming them into the organization.